Okay, woodworkers. So there's a lot of talk about the veneer being narrower than your substrate, and this is the perfect reason to talk about why that's important. So this has been veneered. When veneering, just as a reminder, always do both faces at the same time. And so I've done that. The board is still straight, which is good, hasn't developed any cupping yet. Any of the defects that were here in this one spot have flattened, so I got lucky there. This tape has pretty much done its job, so I can remove all of this stuff now. Actually, I'll leave that because I think I'm going to cut that off. But leaving this tape on doesn't really hurt anything, but I fear that it could start getting kind of caught on saw blades and some other things. Okay, so the reason that I want the substrate to be larger than the veneer is so I can easily trim this thing down to size. And I want this to be 6 inches wide, and as I said, it's about 1.5 inches over, so I want to cut this to about 7 1/8. This dimension is not terribly critical. I just want to make sure that I'm cutting off enough of this edge to cut onto the veneer. That's about right. Okay, here we go. Waiting for the blade to stop. So I'm engaged all the way here in the veneer, all the way here, so that's perfect. So that was what I was wanting to do. Now I can use that edge that I just ripped. That will go against the fence. Then I'll pull this over to my final width, which again, 6 inches. But if you can imagine what would happen if I did have veneer that was extending over both sides. It would be pretty vulnerable to catching, and depending on how well you did to adhere this, it could start to chip off and remove it from your substrate. Or after you've got it securely moved from A to B, I would have to remove that veneer before I could put it onto the table saw to do the thing I just did. And to do that, I would probably be tempted to use a laminate trimmer or a smaller router. And then have a flush cutting bit, and then I would run the bit with the bearing against the edge, zip this around, but it's just so much time to do that, and then those router bits are pretty vulnerable to getting dulled because of the layer of adhesive, and so I'd be tempted to just do it this way. It's so fast, especially when doing larger surfaces. A lot of cabinet backs I do veneered, but plywood. So if I'm doing a hung cabinet, I use a French cleat. Anyway, I'm going off a tangent here now, but it just seems like this is such an easier way to go. So next one I would cut, and then at that point I'm ready to cut. Thanks.